What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my good friend Brian over there discuss comic books that have been adapted into TV shows and movies. Another thing that you can start calling our show is two bald, middle-aged white guys talk about comic books.
I mean, I got a little here. No, I'm going bald. Yeah.
Well, I don't mean like going bald, even though I definitely am going
Yeah.
bald, but we usually have shaved heads. Or, well, you usually do. I'm just catching up to you now.
And I'm extra pale today. I don't know.
Oh,
You
perfect.
at least have some color, man. I mean, like,
Well, I'm Texas, man. The sun's always beating down on us.
and I barely go outside.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's okay. I go outside a lot these days, but yeah. Let's talk about some fucking Peacemaker, huh?
Yes. I mean, I had to. The first thing I have to say is that I did not skip the intro on either the second or the third episode. I don't know why
That's a good
the
sign.
previously on kind of rolled nicely into it, and I didn't skip it. I went after the first week. I'm like, this is disappointing, but I haven't skipped it yet, so maybe it's growing on me.
Yeah, I think it's growing on me too. And luckily, the quality of the episodes has gone up. I thought that I wasn't really into episode 2, and I was worried that that was the only one you had seen. I was like, oh shit, how are we going to talk about this for like 20 minutes at least? But then I really liked episode 3. What about you?
Yeah, two was fine. I did like the end of 2 where they're all kind of together and having that like rooftop party while Eagly is battling Tim Meadows. But yeah, episode 2 felt like a lot of setup. I think the general vibe I'm getting from this, what I had gotten from the first episode, was that this is showing that how much Peacemaker doesn't like his situation in this place, and then he finds this other world where his dad and brother are, alive and good, and it's seeming like they're leaning into him wanting to be there rather than in his own dimension. However, I mean, there's clearly going to be something horribly wrong with this dimension.
You think so?
Oh yeah, 100%. Just the I guess we'll just jump into. We're talking about episodes 2 and 3, and this is more from episode 3 there. But there's it's not a robbery. It's like a what is it?
Well, it's kind of weird to say on September 11th when we're recording, but it's a terrorist attack.
Yeah. Okay. It's a terrorist attack
Yeah.
on the DMV, I believe. But I have a feeling that those people may not have been actual villains here. It's very clear that Peacemaker's gone into this other universe and he doesn't know anything about it, and he's just kind of like riding by the seat of his pants and just taking guesses at generalizations to try to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he likes a lot. But I'm saying, and there was also that throwaway line where he said, "Why does my shirt look like the Kardashians?" And his brother says, "What are the Kardashians?" I have some kind of feeling that there's going to be, not that I think the Kardashians are good, but I feel like there's going to be something really flawed about this universe. And I'm thinking about how what his dad was like in the original universe,
right?
Who was a super horrible racist.
Yes.
And I'm just kind of wondering if like maybe that's it. Like this is like a super racist world,
right?
And the reason why they're heroes is because they're accepted for their views.
Mm-hmm. I had that kind of thought as well. I did a little bit of fantasy booking, and I was thinking, okay, well, is it because in this world the father's beliefs are everyone's beliefs? Like everyone,
they're accepted, and that's why he's viewed as a hero, and why he doesn't, hurt people, because everyone agrees with him.
Right. So we're kind of jumping into 3 already, but that's okay because 3 is much more interesting than 2. But like someone on TikTok, I think, had like a little video where they're like, "Is this actually just a really racist world?" And I remember like watching, like, because there's this whole montage where Peacemaker's on a motorcycle and all these people are like, "Yeah, Peacemaker, you're awesome." There's this little kid that sees him, and it's like Peacemaker. And they just start sobbing because he's so happy. That was such a funny part. This woman like pulls down her shirt and shows her breasts to Peacemaker. And I was trying to look to see, are there any people of color? Were there any African American people? Were there any, Asian people, Indian people, whatever? And I didn't notice if there was. I think out of all the people he killed, there definitely wasn't any people of color.
No, there weren't. I don't think there was anything anywhere. So I think that's going to be like the big shocker of that,
Yeah,
which is an interesting twist. I like that they're kind of, which they basically hid that in plain sight.
yeah,
You're just kind of sitting there trying to see what's different about the world, and you see how much he's enjoying it, but being loved by everyone, and clearly where he had a some kind of a better relationship with Harcourt. But at the same time, there's lots of mentions of him acting different. Harcourt mentions how he used to, talk about his physique a lot and be really arrogant. And I don't know, that kind of maybe goes with some of that racist thinking in a way.
alien.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think that is going to be the case. I think it is going to be like a racist thing, and that like if there weren't any people of color in that scene, then that's probably the biggest indicator. For me, like I'm been a lot like into manifesting and like changing your reality and all that kind of shit. And if you guys want to check out some videos on that, go over to my other channel, Aether and ATX, where I talk about that kind of stuff. But they talk about the idea of like changing your reality. Some people even go so far as to say like there's all these realities and you could just switch over to another one. And I'm like sitting there watching Peacemaker. I'm like, holy shit, this is like connected exactly to what I'm looking into right now.
yeah,
And one other fantasy booking thing that I started to do because of thinking of all that was like maybe just what James Gunn's trying to say is that Peacemaker wants this ideal world, and his presence there is going to mess up that world, and then him going over there is going to mess up his own world too. So it's kind of like he has to stay in the reality that he's created, otherwise he's going to um like mess up both worlds. I was thinking that it might not be like that world is inherently evil or wrong, but that like him being there is going to mess up things.
yeah. I guess the reason I'm pointing it out, this thought, because my initial thought was that it was going to be him choosing between going to this ideal world or staying in his own world where he belongs, sort of thing. And I figured
Yeah.
like that was going to be the emotional tug here, but adding this layer of like extreme racism, I mean, it's going to be clear that that's not a place to stay. So I think you probably are right that there's going to be some kind of threat based on the existence of this door, that nobody seems to really understand. But we've sort of seen also in the Superman movie that Lex Luthor was using.
Yes, there is going to be, yeah, because they did reference that, right? They referenced that in the third episode too. Um, Here's the thing: like either there'll be some kind of like large scale like disaster because of the existence of the door, like maybe it'll start cracking reality like it did in Metropolis. But I think that for like a TV show, the budget might not be big enough for that. But there has to be some kind of threat. Like in the first season, by the first episode, we at least get some hints about the butterflies that are in that season, like the main bad guy.
Yeah.
There isn't really a hint as to like what the main bad guy is in this season yet.
Yeah, and it's I think it would be weird if it was like his dad again in some
Right,
fashion, and it's clearly not going to be his doppelganger because he's dead. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
and then it begs the question too of like Peacemaker's such a big hero. Like, what about Superman? Like, Superman exists in Peacemaker's regular world. Is he in this world? And then like, what about the other people like Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and all these other characters that we've seen in the DCU? Do they exist in this world? And
Yeah,
Miss Terrific is a person of color, and Hawkgirl is a person of color.
yeah.
So
And we didn't hear any mention of Amanda Waller in that other universe either when they were in Argus. So it's another kind of clue there. But I'm also wondering, like, if this is an opportunity maybe to have like, hey, Superman landed in Russia and it's Red Sun, something like that too.
oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. I don't know, man. Yeah, yeah. and then like yeah, right, because it has to be some kind of big threat. Like those butterflies were a big threat in the first season because they could like take over the world, right?
But
So there has to be a
yeah,
big. Good.
you're right. But at the same time, it's like I don't think they're gonna so quickly put in another evil David Cornsweet Superman in a TV
Yeah.
show so soon after the movie. It doesn't seem right. So that's probably not going to be the case. But you're right. Like
Yeah.
there needs to be, they need to explain this threat better, and why it's up to some, why Peacemaker is the only one up to the task of finishing the job here.
Yeah. This might be as good a time as any to reference one of our most popular videos on the channel, but there's this video that we have where I'm talking about the Charlton comic book characters. We're kind of going back and forth, and we're talking about how like all the characters in Watchmen are based on Charlton character Charlton comic book characters. There we go. And like Peacemaker, he's the comedian in Watchmen, right?
Yes.
And the question is Rorschach, and Black Canary is what's her name? Silk Spectre?
Silk Spectre. Yep.
Yeah. And then Blue Beetle is Owlman, right?
Night Owl.
Night Owl. Whoops, that's another character.
Owlman's somebody different.
Yeah. So it would be kind of cool if you could loop in the DC versions of those characters into this somehow too,
Maybe, yeah, that would be kind of cool. But I feel like Peacemaker is really standing out based on the fact that his place in the Suicide Squad movie and then the subsequent TV show, and just I guess the general likability of John Cena in the role here. So I'm not so sure that we'll necessarily get those other characters in this.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to see.
Well, it's just he's like such an obscure character to begin with, right? Like he doesn't have it. Good.
That's the whole point of like Suicide Squad, though, is just to have these obscure throwaway characters that really anybody could get killed. And technically, he did die in the movie,
Right.
But they retconned that. So I think that's kind of the point, is that he's obscure, and that's why that character was in that movie.
Yeah. And I mean, just to kind of go along with that, like he doesn't really have his own like main rogue or like a whole bunch of enemies that
because he killed them.
He kills them. That's true. There you go. All right. Well, then you know what? We're doing a lot of fantasy booking and speculating. Let's bring it back to the episodes. Episode 2, I felt like there wasn't too much to it. There's obviously like that sequence with Eagly where he takes out all the assassins. I think Tim Meadows kind of steals the show in episode.
You know what? 2. I actually feel the opposite. I do like Tim Meadows a lot, but I just, his presence makes me feel like it's an SNL skit.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, the bird blindness thing. Like I think they took a little too far, and it just feels like an SNL skit to me. And I know that this show is not devoid of comedy, but it seems out of place to me. And I do like Tim Meadows.
And you do like what?
I do like Tim Meadows. I particularly, my favorite thing he's in was Walk Hard.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that, but
it's a good movie. I like it.
John C. Reilly. Yeah, I know. It's making fun of all like those, musical biopic movies.
Yes.
It's funny because like with this show, the jokes are kind of hit or miss with me. There's some like really good jokes, but then there's a whole bunch where just kind of you get like a little chuckle, or you're like, that's funny. And that's the way I felt about his character. Like he came on real strong, and he was like real charming and quirky. He's like massaging Economos at one point. And like I think the funniest thing was when he gave all those like assassins names.
That was very funny, yes. And did you see the I guess it was like an after credits on the second episode?
What?
So on the after credit scene on the second episode was an extended version of like, he said that while you were being a nerd, like I was having my dick sucked by 2 chicks. And then Economos starts asking him questions to get details to see if he's bullshitting. And he starts giving answers, and they're just equally as vague. And it was just drawn out. And I kind of wish it was in the episode rather than at the end there, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I always feel like those end credit scenes are like little scrapped moments from the show that they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this would have been funny. Yeah, yeah. Uh, so I mean, he's kind of the big part of episode two. We have a little bit of like Peacemaker being upset that Harcourt's not with him. Harcourt has this one moment that actually really bothered me in episode two. She goes to a pharmacy because she got into this bar fight, this like intense bar fight, and she's got like a black and blue, and I think she's in pain. There's this woman that suspects that she's in an abusive relationship. She goes up to her, and the woman's like legitimately trying to help her, and Harcourt kind of having to be like the, oh, see, we're this badass, edgy kind of show. You know, we're gonna say inappropriate things. She's mean to the woman, and the woman's just literally trying to help her. She's not like overbearing. And then she says this thing to the woman. She says, "I'm not a mirror for you," or something like that, or "I'm not a mirror of you." And I just it like I have a hard time liking Harcourt, and that moment made me like her even less.
I think it was appropriate for the character though, in the sense that where they're going from that first episode where the psychiatrist said she has toxic masculinity.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So it perfectly lines up, I think. But I agree that it wasn't a proud moment there for the character.
Right, right. And I mean, it's better in the third episode because you see her and there's like this alternate version of her where she's seems to be happy and have her life together, and she's working for Argus, which is like the
And she's
missing
probably
part.
racist.
And she's probably racist. Yes, racist people can be happy too. It's such a weird conversation to be having on 9/11 today, but
Yes.
or also Patriots Day or whatever we call it now in this country.
Wow.
But let's just see whatever other pieces to cover in the second episode. I mean, there's not really much, right? Well, I mean, what else is there in that second episode?
It's really I felt part of the second episode was just that kind of continuation of just making everybody super irrelevant and pathetic. Like they're all working retail jobs or whatever, and they have nothing going on in their lives. And again, it was like a little bit too much. And I know that was sort of the vibe, as they were these underdogs in the first season, and they didn't expect much out of, and they did this really incredible thing by saving the world and stopping this alien invasion. But
Yeah,
it's just to see them all so rock bottom, and it's just like I don't know. I don't know if it's repetitive or it's just I expected something good to happen at some point, but
yeah.
I don't know. But it seems to fade more in the third episode, and we start getting into more of the alternate reality and other stuff. And that's I'm really interested in that stuff and the thematic stuff there.
Yeah. We get a little bit more of the alternate reality in the second episode too, because Peacemaker has this conversation with his brother, like he has this kind of bonding moment with his brother, and you can. I mean, John Cena. I think you should probably reveal, Brian, who was actually going to play Peacemaker before John Cena.
Yes. So I saw some little interview with James Gunn, and he's I think it was with Howard Stern actually, and he revealed that John Cena wasn't is the original choice for the role, and he actually wrote the part for Dave Bautista, based off of working with him in Guardians of the Galaxy and as Drax, and he turned down the role because he had some other two other movies lined up around the same time, and the schedule would have been hard. And then he met with Cena, and then he says it becomes like his favorite person to work with, really. So, and I think I said this to you in a text earlier. Is like I think, and maybe this is even contrary to what I just said, but John Cena excels at playing a loser.
Yeah,
And I mean that in the most respectable way possible.
right.
Like in a lot of the roles he plays this like really down on his luck person, and
Yeah,
or this has something that really gone wrong with their life, and he's really good at that.
yeah. He kind of plays like a sort of a Mark Wahlberg type character often, where he sort of like seems like a little clueless or not that bright, but where Mark Wahlberg, there's always that sort of underlying like intensity, or that it's like, oh, but he's really an asshole. With John Cena, it's like, oh no, he's actually like a really nice guy, but he's also kind of goofy and maybe not that smart.
Well, no. I mean, the characters he plays is I can't. I wish I could remember some of the names of the movies I've seen with him in it, but like some of them were like Amazon movies. But he just plays this guy that has just done all these things wrong in his life,
Yeah.
and whether it's like addiction or just failing at his career or whatever it is, but like he's basically always rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
In all these movies, and a good majority of the movies that I've seen him in. I haven't really seen any of the more action-oriented movies he's probably earlier in his career, but since he
Yeah.
started doing like comedies,
Yeah.
I think started with like, oh my God, what's her name? Amy Schumer's movie,
Trainwreck.
Trainwreck, yeah. Which I don't think that movie necessarily fits that bill, but
Yeah.
other movies since then, some of them do. And if I could remember a damn name of them, I would say it.
Yes.
But I can't.
But it's funny because it's like he plays this sort of like dopey guy, this losery guy, but he's like ridiculously like ripped. He's in
Yeah,
like this
he's
insane
ridiculous.
shape.
Yeah, and
And go ahead.
I was gonna say he seems like a super like genuine nice guy in real life. Like I think
Yeah.
he has like the most Make a Wish Foundation wishes granted out of anyone in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, I watch that shit sometimes on TikTok where like he'll go meet a fan and they'll just be like in awe of him and he'll hug them and stuff, and I just start sobbing, you know?
Like the little boy in the car.
Yes, yeah, like oh John Cena. Oh. But all right. So episode 3, he goes over to the other reality. He calls it the best dimension ever. I made a reference to this in one of my Pete on the Street little short videos. You guys should always check those out too. But in that like alternate reality, he's just riding around on a motorcycle. Like everyone thinks he's so cool. He goes into Argus. There's this really funny interaction that he has with this guy at the front desk where he's like pretending like he's the peacemaker that lives in this world. And the guy's like, "Oh, how's Johnson doing?" And he's like, did the tests come back positive? And he's like, "Oh, yeah, they came back positive." Like he
Very
thinks
positive.
he means, right. He thinks positive means like it was good results, but it means he was like positive for cancer, you know?
Um, didn't he say Grant?
Oh, he said Grant? Or is that supposed to be like Wildcat?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah,
Oh, okay, that could definitely be the
and I
case.
hope he's
Yeah.
not a racist.
Oh no, racist Wildcat with cancer. You know, but no, there's all these little fun interactions, and then there's just this like ridiculous action scene where he just like slaughters 10 people in creative ways. I fucking loved it. I ate that shit up.
Yes, that was a very funny scene there. But they went a little too far trying to like humanize those terrorists, I guess. But
Right.
yeah, he does some crazy things. He jumps off a roof into the window in the first place.
Right.
The first what is it? How does he kill the first guy? I don't remember. But my favorite was you see him look up at the light in the ceiling and he grabs 2 pencils.
Right.
Stabs in the guy's ears. And like he had already taken out some guys, so there were guns available, but he still chose to use the pencils, which is great.
Right. And he's holding the guy up in the air. Like the guy's like swinging with the 2 pencils in his ears. It's so horrific and awesome, which is like something that James Gunn can do. He's got his horror roots when he was in Trauma, sorry, that company he worked for. And he can make gruesome things. It's just fucking great. He's able to do that in this show.
That's right. That reminds me. The first guy was he axed the guy in the head and he's just like talking with the axe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the guy's like, what happened? Or something like that. Yeah. It's really funny. It's fucked up. But that whole sequence happens because he goes with that version of Harcourt on a little like meet cute, and they're talking about their relationship, and it's like alluding that they had this history together, but he was the one that ended it with her. Whereas in the regular DCU, his version of reality, she isn't really interested in him.
Yes, she kind of thinks he's a joke wearing the costume and just being how he is, sort of.
But let me ask you this though. They do a scene like one of the things that's cool about the show is that it has like kind of like a I don't even, like a cold open, right? And then it goes into the credits, the Foxy Shazam song. And this one opened with Harcourt like getting out of bed and Rick Flag Jr.'s in the bed.
Yes. How are we not talking about Rick Flag Jr., which is the thing that I got spoiled for like 2 weeks ago because I only watched the episode very recently. So the opening, the cold open in the 3rd episode appears to be Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr. sleeping together. hours before the events of the Suicide Squad.
Right.
And then we also see the alternate version of Rick Flag, who is kind of like a weird goofball kind of guy in the Argus office, stumbling around and being all weird and stuff. That I guess maybe they're romantically linked there. I'm not really sure.
Well, that was the question I had for you, Brian, was what universe does that scene take place in, that cold open? Is it in the DCU or is it in the
The alternate.
best
I think
ever?
I think it's the man. I think it's the DCU.
Okay.
The only weird question about it is, or maybe this is why. Maybe this is why she's not committing to Peacemaker, is because he
You
killed
fucking
Rick
killed
Flag
him?
Jr. Yeah, which was her
Yeah.
friend. That has not come up prior to this, you know.
Right. Right.
So I think, um, I think it is the DCU, but maybe they're trying to make you think, questioning which way it could have gone. But the Rick Flag in the opening scene seemed a lot more confident than the
Yeah.
one in the alternate universe, where he seems kind of like a goofball. So I can't imagine them being the same person, you know?
Right. 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 Um, yeah, it's good to see Joel Kinnaman back because I just like him as an actor. He was really great in the show called The Killing, which was on AMC. He was in like the RoboCop reboot, which I feel bad for him, but he really did try in that. And he has these little bit parts in a lot of things. I liked seeing him. I thought that he had potential as Rick Flag in both Suicide Squad movies, but like the first one was just this piece of shit movie.
That's actually the confirmation. I think that it's the DCU because they sort of reference the original Suicide Squad movie, where they talk
Okay.
about Enchantress,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Harker references her as like a former girlfriend or something.
Right, right, right. Yeah, it's weird with all this like rebooting and moving things around. It's like, well, what counts, what doesn't count. But I kind of like the idea that that is in the DCU, like the regular universe, where him and Harcourt are together, and that Peacemaker essentially killed her like best friend, who was also her lover too. I like that idea.
I wonder if she doesn't possibly. No, she has to know because she was in that operations room with Waller, so she 100%
Yeah,
knows that he did that. But it's
right.
odd that it hasn't come up before.
Yeah, I agree. She probably made some kind of reference to like, oh, when you killed Rick Flag, he was a hero. She probably said something like that in the first season,
We just
but it
don't
was just
remember.
probably like, yeah, it was just like a throwaway line. It wasn't like a plot point in the
Yeah.
first season. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, let's kind of wrap this up so we can do our alien coverage with Danny. But I was going to say that like we haven't really seen, like I said a couple of minutes ago, that we haven't really seen what the big threat of this season is. Just based on what you've seen in these first 3 episodes, like what do you think could be the problem? Like what do you think is going to cause major issues?
I think it's going to be something to do with that doorway and its overuse. But there's got to be some kind of driving force behind it. I mean, we also could consider that maybe Rick Flag Sr. is the villain here, who's clearly has a vendetta out against Peacemaker for killing his
Yeah.
son. Um, that could be it. And again, I'm still thinking about an interview I saw where some reviewers were given 5 episodes, and they asked why they didn't give any more. Is because like things get so much crazier after episode 5 that they couldn't have it get spoiled beforehand. So tonight will be tonight as of this recording will be episode 4. So hopefully we'll find out in 2 weeks what all this the hype's about.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this discussion about Peacemaker season 2, episodes 2 and 3?
No, that's it for me.
All right, sweet. Well, Brian and I are about to bounce from this recording. We're going to go over to the Lasser Cast, which is the other channel that I'm on, and that's where we review horror movies and TV shows. We are covering Alien Earth, so you guys can check out those recordings too. We have Danny, who's the co-host on there. Besides that, on this channel, we got Peacemaker, and then we're going to cover this. And then what's after Peacemaker, Brian, in our schedule?
We got Gen V season 2,
Oh,
and
shit.
probably Marvel Zombies. I'm thinking maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We totally like. There was a couple of Star Wars shows that we just totally skipped over on this channel, and we skipped over. There was like a Wakanda show too.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be short too, only like 3 episodes or so.
Yeah,
Yeah, we took
yeah.
a little break in early August, but we're back and we're excited about lots of stuff we're covering.
Yes. What is the when's that fucking Fallout show coming back?
Oh, they did announce that date. I think it is December, maybe.
Okay. All right, yeah.
So
All
we'll
right.
definitely be covering that later this year too. And there's got to be another movie coming out. Maybe not. I think is that it
Yeah.
for movies for the year for that we would cover? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there wasn't supposed to be that many comic book movies, and then like I think next year it's like only like Doomsday, right?
And that's the end of the Spider Man. We should
Oh, nice.
probably get. We might get. Oh no, will we get 2 Spider-Mans next year? We get the Tom Holland and the Spider Verse next year, or is Spider Verse going to be 2027?
Oh, I
Probably
have no.
2027.
Yeah, but guess what, guys? If you liked watching two middle-aged bald dudes be like, "Is this movie coming out? When's this coming out? Who's
When did
this?"
that movie come out again, Sonny?
Right. If that's like your kink, if you're just sitting there wanting to lick our heads while we're talking like this, then subscribe. Come on. You know you want it. I'll put on my Peacemaker helmet for you, baby. We love you. See ya.